The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on. He missed the complete that. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
Thanks to the wonders of helium, we float in a billowous Belgian sky, looking down from the dirigibles gondola at Circuit Zolder, which today plays host to round 4 of the Championship Motorsports iRacing GT3 series, and you'll be able to watch all the action live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing channel. In just under a quarter hour, the lights will go off, letting loose a rumbling horde of Mercedes, BMWs, Audis, McLarens, and Roofs towards the first left-hander on this chicane-rich racetrack that is Zolder. So let me tell you, get the big screen input set for the internet feed, grab a cup of mayonnaise to dip your french fries in, crack open a Yazoo, put the Lazy Boy recliner to good use, and enjoy the 60 minutes of simulated sports car excitement that will be streaming your way. Guten Mittag, everyone, and welcome to another GSRC broadcast. I'm your host, Bill Soup Zahn. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is our director and Texas State competitive knitting champion, Amjad Yaman, and at his disposal will be the visionary camera locations provided by Dougie Beard. Well, Championship Motorsports is a virtual motorsports and sim racing league that's been around for 17 years. They offer a variety of racing and training programs using computer simulations on a variety of platforms like R-Factor and GTR2 and Richard Burns Rally. But today's platform parallels the series name, which is the iRacing GT3 series. If you were with GSRC for round 3, you saw a few cracks in the Brazilian armor as Mitchorton found Umberto Roca, who had won the previous 2 rounds. The South America's misfortune was good news for Dexter Castro, who claimed his first checkered flag of the season. Finishing second was Mike Griffith. Now, because of Griffith's mistakes on the track, the jury is still out on whether his Take 4 approach is the way to go compared to Castro's fuel only and no tire strategy. Now, if the winner circle once again is to be lilted by the bossa nova, or if the Brazilian rhythms are going to be drowned out by the music of Castro or Griffith, or maybe a new name, it's all going to happen on this chicane-infested venue that is Zolder. Now, let's talk a little bit about Zolder. It's 2.5 miles around. That's 4 kilometers roughly on both of those dimensions. Now, there's 10 turns. Now, unlike some tracks that put numbers everywhere, this track pretty much labels chicanes as one corner. And in fact, turn 7 is really like it's a right, left, right, right combination. They call that whole thing turn 7. Zolder used to be the host for the Belgium Grand Prix all the way up until 82. That was the year that Gilles Villeneuve was tragically killed here on the track. They took it away, went to Spa for a year, came back in 84, but ever since then, since 85, the Formula One has been seen for Spa for the last 30 years. For me, passing is all about waiting for mistakes. Fortunately, with so many chicanes, there's lots of places for the cars to make mistakes and you can get around them. But to better understand what these drivers are really dealing with, let's go ahead and watch Kevin Brown in the BMW for GSRC.
All right, we've got Kevin Brown in the GSRC BMW, so let's do a lap around Zolder. Coming to turn 1, it's a fast downhill left-hander with a very late apex. Turn in too early and be ready to slide off into the gravel. From there, switch left and set up for 2. This corner and 3 are basically one long arc, but be careful not to push too far wide because the big sausage curbs on the outside can get your car all out of sorts. Keep the power on through 3 and immediately get ready for 4. The car carries a ton of speed through this long sweeper, and it's critical that you nail the exit without leaving the track limits. That's because at the end of this backstretch is one of the most popular overtaking spots, so don't leave yourself vulnerable. Also, make sure not to get too greedy on these huge inner curbs because they can destroy your suspension. From there, we climb the crest and stay left to set up for the second chicane. This is a maddeningly slow and technical set of corners. I wish they could have just extended the runoff instead of putting this thing here, because it's a mess to navigate. From there, turn 7 is going to have a lot of banking, so using every inch of the circuit from apex to track out is going to pay off. One more big crest, and now we stay left and brake hard for 8. This is another favorite passing zone, so keep an eye on your mirrors. Make sure in late apex this bad boy for the best launch possible, straighten out the itty bitty chicane of 9, and then stay right for the final chicane. Watch out for guys heading for the pit lane. They won't be braking, and if you get fixated on them, you're following them in. This is another part where the giant inner curbs can ruin your day, so pay them some respect. Once again, get your exit right, straighten the car out, and now you've completed a lap around Zolder.
And there's a lap around the track designed by somebody who had a coupon at Chicanes or Us. They call it Zolder. 2.5 miles, about 4 kilometers around. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the points. Now, we're going to talk again only about the driver's points right now. We're going to start with this championship called the Pro Points. Now, this is for the drivers with I ratings of 2,200 or above. Thanks to his win at Monza, the main man, Dexter Castro, has a 10-point lead over Mike Griffin. Now, the Delta Motorsports tandem of Miguel Acrudo and Umberto Roca, they sit 3rd and 4th. Jason Lundy's consistency with many top 10s so far has him rounding out the top 5. Now, because of Acrudo and Roca's success, Delta Motorsports is dominating the team championship. They're 70 points ahead of Puffin. Combination of Lundy and his partner Tom Ratchey. We'll look more about team championships as the races progress. For the driver championship, that is for drivers 1750 to 2199. In I ratings, it's called the Pro-Am points. Now, it is the division here. The last place leader was Chris Hudson, and he's dropped down to 3rd position. Tim Collier now takes over the top spot with Bobby Don't Play in the Tar Box holding station in 2nd. Antonio Acrudo, that's not to be confused with Miguel. Antonio Acrudo has the only top 5 in this class, and Christian Hoveld fills out the top 5. And finally, in the division that warms the cockles and adjacent giblets of my heart, for drivers with an I rating under 1750, it's the gentleman's division. Simon Goodwin dropped from 2nd down to 3rd, replaced by Steve Slee. Both of those drivers trail Wayne Fitzgerald, who remains the class leader. Paul Green Eggs and Hamilton moved up a spot into 4th, and Peter Hebron finds his way into the top 5. This class is still looking for its first top 10 of any of the drivers in that division. So we've talked about the points, we've talked about the track. I'm going to take a second now, and we're going to talk about some of the race-specific details here. Now, the cars that are eligible for this race are the Mercedes, the BMWs, the Audis, but also the McLarens and the roofs, although I don't think there are any McLarens or roofs in this event here today. The race length, they're going for 60 minutes. This series has endurance races for 100 minutes, and then what they call a sprint race for 60 minutes. Now, what that means is, with a fuel limit of 65%, instead of the two-stopper that we saw last time, I think we're only going to see one stop. Pit window about 40 minutes. About 40 minutes you can do a run, so it opens up between 20 and 40 minutes. I don't think we're going to see anybody taking tires here today. Good news for these drivers, bad news for the announcers who have to take notes is that there is one fast repair. So if you break it, you get one more chance at it. And there is no incident cap, which is a really good thing here at this chicane-infested venue. The weather? Well, let me tell you, it's clear, it's 65 degrees, and apparently the Belgium sun doesn't pack a lot of punch because the track temperature, even with clear skies, is only 75 degrees. We'll run you're going to have to really run to get your kite airborne here with a small breeze of only 7 miles per hour. So that takes care of all the race details here. As I look, we have just a few minutes. I'm going to go over a few things before the grid, things I want to call you the I told you so's. And these are things that we're going to watch out for. Now, what the series officials, what the race stewards have wanted the drivers to watch out for, they want them to be mindful of black flags. What that means is, if you cut the course here, and with all these chicanes, you're going to see a lot of them, iRacing will give the drivers a slowdown penalty, and that means they have to let off the gas on the track. They want the drivers behind to be aware of that. They want the drivers serving those black flags to be careful, serve it off the racing line if they can. Also, we think that traffic, lapping cars is going to be a problem here, so they're really looking for drivers to help out the faster cars a little bit by simply lifting on the straights and try to compromise and separate. My driving instructor used to tell me in 12th grade, compromise and separate. So they want to you can try to time those areas where people can get around you. Lock down the brakes, and boy, this is an I told you so. We saw a couple people have incidents where they spun the car and then they didn't lock down the brakes and they rolled right in front of people, and that took out a few people last race, and that's a tragic way to have your race go. And finally, we're going to watch. There are going to be pit stops. We're going to watch for pit exit because there's a couple things that pit exit makes this kind of special. One, it dumps you out right in front of traffic, almost on the racing line. And what makes matters worse is what on iRacing they call the F3 box. For people who aren't familiar with iRacing, it's a little numbered box that tells you the distance of the closing car. But because of the angle of this pit lane entrance or exit, where it takes you like a winding road through takes you about 50 yards away from the track, sometimes that F3 box doesn't work and you lose sight of the other cars that are coming up behind you. Okay, they are gridding on the grid right now. It's going to be a full pace lap around, so we have no hurry here. We're going to run down the grid, though. And as we look at it right now, qualifying is done. We have a total of 32 cars who put in a qualifying time, 35 names on the entry list. And it really is no surprise to see who sits on the pole, and it's Umberto Roca. Now, Umberto, of course, has 2 wins. He had some bad luck that we talked about last time in round 3, but he's back here today, up on the front, looking to go wire to wire if he can. Outside of him on row 2 is Eduardo Bianica. I'm going to assume that this series is full of Brazilians. I believe that Eduardo is probably Brazilian as well. As they start to roll for the pace lap, Riando Schmidt and Miguel Alcrudo, another pair of Brazilians, make up the second row. Our first North American driver is the winner from last week, Dexter Castro. He hails from Maine. Next to him is a driver he's familiar with. He's raced a lot in the MX5 World Tour, and that's Dulgen Buldrin. Today, Duldren will be in, it looks like he's in a Mercedes there today. Arthur Hermont in another Mercedes on the inside of row 4. Dougie Ansel Adams Beard on the outside of row 4 in position 8. Row 9th and 10th position go to Ryan Bird and Jason Lundy in the BMW Golf machine. His partner in Puffin Racing in 11th spot, Tom Ratchie. Outside of him, Mr. Excitement, Matt Quinn. The 13th and 14th position goes to Drew Litke and Miguel Antonio Alcrudo. I'm going to call him Tony Alcrudo so we don't get confused with the other Alcrudo that's in there as well. James Stacy and Tim Collier make up 15th and 16th. Robert Tarbox and James Hulme in the 17th and 18th position. We talked about David Slee doing very well in one of the championships. He's in there next to Eduardo Tomidi. In the 21st position, hitting blackjack, is Tony James, although James still has the car in the pits. Peter Hebron in 22nd. 23rd spot is Curtis Paulson. Marco Calabri in the 24th position. 25th goes to Cleaver Gomez, driving in the number 380 machine. Paul Hamilton in 26th position. 27th and 28th is Simon Goodwin and Warren McCary. The 29th and rounding out 30th is Fabio Battista and Wayne Fitzgerald. Jay Friels is back there in 31st with Fred McIntosh in 32nd position. The final 3 drivers, I'm looking to make sure they are out there. Victor Kanaka, we saw a great run from him last race. Did not put in a qualifying, starting at the back. Keep an eye on Victor, he's very fast. Dino Topic, a veteran and a friend of GSRC, in 34th position. And rounding out the field of 35 is Mark Regurio. Going to go for 1 hour. The pace car pulls in. They negotiate this final chicane. Heading down, waiting for the permission to go, pacing the field. It's Umberto Roca. And Umberto gets a great jump as he takes off into the first corner safely. He is followed by Eduardo Benica. We have a spin with Dexter Castro. Dexter Castro a little bit wide. Everything seems to be fine. He continues on. As we continue on, and believe it or not, my screen has frozen up. Joining me now in the booth is Mark Nobert. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you. Sorry, I had a few technical difficulties in getting to the booth tonight.
Mark, keep an eye on what you're looking at there as I have some technical difficulties. I'll be back with you in just a second, guys.
Right now we're following Eduardo Benica. I'm going to take a few stabs at his name tonight. Basically, he's in second place following Umberto Roca. We're looking at about a half a second gap between the first and second place cars, and this is very similar to what we saw a couple weeks ago before Roca got taken out of that race.
Yeah, Roca has been very dominant all season long. It looks like he's right back in the same form again. You see him on screen right now in that battle with Roca, Benica there, and Miguel Alcrudo.
Yeah, Alcrudo a second and a half back though, so the two leaders, Roca and Benica, are beginning to distance themselves, and if Alcrudo and Schmidt, for that matter, want to catch him, they really need to step it up now, because the longer they wait, obviously, the harder it's going to be.
Watching there on board, still up front. Now we drop back a little bit farther. You can see the battle back there, 4th, 5th, and 6th there with Schmidt, Aldrin, and Arthur Hermont. I don't want to get this wrong, but I believe all three of those drivers, including Arthur Hermont, might be Brazilian. I don't want to get Hermont wrong there. I believe that is correct, though, so.
Well, we said it last week when we touched on this, that there's a large contingency from Brazil in this series, and it's fun to watch because Brazil has produced over the years so many amazing world-class drivers, and here we're seeing that same thing continue.
And we talked about it on our first broadcast, which was round 3, is what those Brazilians do. They like to come in force, and they invade a series. We have somebody off there. We're looking at it. Who is the director? Looking at, Kleber Gomez is off.
He was running in 25th at the time. Not sure he even lost the position there. Did he lose a spot?
Lost a few spots, we think. Okay. I've got my system sorted out now, so I have all my technical information in front of me. Still working on it here. Sorry, folks. We have another spin here, and we're looking at Rosario off. Currently, he was running in 35th position. Just kind of lost it there, it looked like.
I wonder, I think the last two that we've seen were both Audis. I wonder if if that particular car is having a little bit of trouble at this track.
What I think the story of this race is going to be, from the drivers who've given me the inside scoop, is it's going to be all the cars are going to have trouble not spinning at the chicanes, and the Audis are going to have trouble not spinning everywhere. Now we're looking at a battle for P3. As we look here, it's Miguel Alcrudo. He's being challenged, and that's Leandro Schmidt there in the battle for 3rd position. They go through that final chicane. That's called turn 10, even though it's a left and right, like we talked about in the pre-race show. That's 1 corner. We stay on it as we're on board now with Schmidt. You see them come up to this swooping left-hander. That's turn 1. Jeez. Alcrudo ahead. As we ride on board with Schmidt. Now they go through this right-hander. They'll have another right-hander, and then it sets up this ever-important corner where he can go a little bit wide out into the sand trap, this right-hander that sets off this long run down to the first chicane. A lot of drivers like to put that car all the way out into the sand. You can still get a pretty good bite off there. Now this is really your first passing zone attempt. Looks like Schmidt's not going to be able to get that done there. The trick is on that chicane, you want to not clip the first the first curve, so then you can cut short that right hand on that second part of the chicane. Down here, you got to be real careful as they go through the second chicane now. And then, this is all corner 7. A left, right, and another right. That takes care of corner 7. Yeah, we go to some tracks where every little bend is labeled. This one is not. There's corner 8. And you can see Smith. Then that's going to be a whole lap around. They come up for one final because they had a buy 2, get 1 free at the chicane store. One final chicane here.
Very technical track.
Now we'll look back at Dougie Ansel Adams' Beard back there in the Audi being challenged by, that's Jason Lundy in the BMW. Lundy in that Gulf-colored machine running in 8th. Beard up there in 7th. Lundy, of course, a member of Puffin Racing. That's the team currently in 2nd position right now in the team championship, although 77 points behind that dominant team of Roca and El Crudo. Looking on board, you see Beard is the second car. You see that kind of yellow colored machine there, and there's Lundy. Mark, there's really no places to pass here. You almost have to wait for somebody to make a mistake, don't you?
I was just about to touch on that. Not a lot of room to pass, and really, there's less room to make a mistake. Pretty much at Zolder, if you bob a little bit, if you give a little bit of room, someone's gonna get you because there's a lot of corners, and generally corners are passing zones, but not here because they're just not not strong enough corners.
Not missing anything out front. Roca has about a 2.5 second lead over the Nika, who's got about a 3-second lead back to El Crudo, Schmidt, and Boldrin, who are kind of in a battle for 3rd, but not really. This is really what we want to be looking at here right now, this battle actually for 15th there with Ryan Bird, in there with Tim Collier, and Robert Don't Play in the Tar Box in 15th, 16th. A really good battle back here, and actually it really the guy who is maybe slowing all of these guys up is James Stacy out in front. Stacy in 13th, Collier in 14th, Bird, Tarbox, James Yoon, the caboose of this 5-car train, 13th back to 17th.
I agree with you that Stacy's holding them up. It's he definitely is the slower of the rest of them right now. And once somebody gets by him, I think you're going to see a freight train of everybody else try to get around him.
Now, a guy that you might be interested that we'll keep an eye on as we maybe we'll jump up to 9th position is Dexter Castro. We haven't talked much about him. He's the race winner. We know that Dexter is running, not just a little bit of downforce. He's running significant downforce on that back wing. Don't want to give away his strategy, but it involves staying out of trouble. I guess I'm going to give away his strategy. Stay out of trouble and pick up positions on attrition. Currently running in 9th position. And Mark, another nice little 5-car battle. We talked about that 5-car back there before. Here's another one. It's up there with Arthur Hermit, and we have our first pit coming in. And it's James Stacy now. It's probably too early.
Yes, does seem to be unscheduled.
Also on lap 6, Simon Goodwin spun the car.
Only 10 minutes into a 1-hour session. It seems to be a bit early to be pitting.
Going back to P3 now, and there's a Crudo. He just lost that position. Michele Crudo was running in 3rd. Not sure if he got a slowdown penalty in the chicane. I'll look and see. Oh, yes, he did. Yes, he did on the replay. He missed it. I think I might have heard somebody blowing an engine. Yep, it was Mark Ruggiero blew his engine running in 34th position. obviously doing his very best to pick up some spots. Bad news is he blew an engine. Good news is he will only drop one spot in the standings. So Alcrudo drops back to 4th position with that slowdown penalty to Schmidt. Now you see on the screen there, it's Schmidt, Alcrudo, and back behind him is Duljan Boldrin.
And that's a mouthful.
It is. Looking at the paint schemes there, I believe Schmidt and Bold, I don't want to assume this is the case. I believe they're both run for 8 or 80 Motorsports.
That is what's on that car, yes.
With Alcrudo in the middle.
And not to be missed upon all this is that the Umberto Roca is still stretching it out. He's up to 4 seconds now.
But as you look there on screen, you see that 5 car there with Licky, Alcrudo, that's as the ticker goes by. Guy making a move, trying to, not worried about the virus down there in Brazil. Yeah, is Douglas Beard up into 7th place, trying to break into that 6-car train. And meanwhile, back here, Dexter Castro has gone around Jason Lundy, moved up into 8th position.
He's moving up, knocking him down one at a time, and I think he's gonna be someone we're gonna see climb his way up into the top 5 here before too long.
So now he's trying to run down the big train in front of him. Actually, it's only a 2-car train. He's trying to get behind Dougie Beard. I'll give you the time. It's 1.2 seconds from Beard in 7th back to Castro, running in 8th. We'll check back in on that and see if he can make up any ground. Remember, his strategy was simply to wait for people to crash, but now 47's into this, not has happened yet. Now we're going to look for Victor Tanaka. Looks like Victor had a spin, yeah.
Luckily, I don't think he collected anything.
Might have made contact. That's James Hume. Don't want to...
Oh, he did get the rail.
I don't want to say that Hume made contacts there, but it looks like they got together. We saw Tanaka have a great run last race, and if memory serves right, you see him going off. Does he put it in the wall? Oh my goodness. He'll need maybe to use that fast repair. Actually, he may want to save it for another 4 or 5 minutes. Might put him in the pit window. He can limp that car around for another tick on the clock, and he'll be able to come in and get a fast repair and still be in his pit window. We saw Tanaka, Paul, if you remember, have trouble last week at Monza when he got in trouble in that looping corner there with Paul Darling, where they got together. Paul Darling got loose and came back across the track and got him. That was Parabolica, if memory serves me right. Okay, let's go ahead maybe and reset the leader here real quick, Director, if you can. It's about 4.5 seconds. Maybe run down the top 10. 4.5 seconds. Humberto Roca up in front, pulling away from Arthur Hermant. Now remember, it's about 5 minutes till the pit window opens. Doesn't mean they're going to come in. We've seen a lot of these guys run until it's dry.
Third, we have Leandro Schmidt. He's
Go ahead,
I'm sorry. He's about 10 seconds behind the leader.
Yeah, and I misidentified second place. It was Eduardo Benacca in second. 4th position, Miguel Alcrudo. And then he's in that battle with Dujan Boldrin for 5th. Arthur Herman in 6th. And remember we talked about Douglas Beard? Well, he's hanging in there 7th position, but not making up any ground. In fact, losing ground is Castro, who is now... Lundy has got around him again, so Castro back into 9th. Lundy
and
up into 8th position.
Horse.
And then rounding out the top 10, a nice little battle in another puffin machine there, the orange and blue golf machine, Tom Ratche. The Bay State Hammer in a BMW. We talked about that this series lets 5 cars, or 5 manufacturers can actually enter this series. You pick a car, you have to stay with it. Not so good for the McLarens, which would make my wife happy because she thinks it has an evil smile. And the roofs, what I like to call the Porsche. No Porsches here today. We want to correct ourselves. There is one roof out here, and it is Victor Tanaka in that beautiful black machine. Let's see if Victor brought that car back out or has called it a day. Looks like Victor's back out there racing with us. That's a name you got to keep an eye on because he's very fast. He came in and actually took his pit stop. He might need to go one more time. He might need to do a second stop. Apparently that car was too damaged for him to be able to keep it out and limp it around. He is still on the lead lap, however.
He did put it into that guardrail and that Armco at a pretty heavy pace, so I wasn't surprised he came in to get it fixed right away. That thing would have been handling like a brick.
For all you Tanaka fans out watching, this series has no full course cautions. There are local cautions that iRacing will show you if you see the car spun, but no full course cautions, so Victor's going to have to do it the old-fashioned way, which will be impossible. Look at what we're seeing on the screen right there. My goodness. Some close battling between Lundy, Castro, and Ratche.
Yeah, those guys are really heating up. They're starting to get a little bit fierce between the three of them.
That yellow car that you just saw is Fred McIntosh. You think he would be driving an apple green machine, but the McIntosh car, number 345, has spun. Didn't look like he hit anybody. And now he pulls it out, gets around Fabrizio Bastilatilla. I don't remember calling out that name, currently running in 32nd position. Bastatilla, 32nd position.
Another mouthful.
Looking at this battle right now between Lundy, Beard, that's Beard out in front, Lundy, actually there's Lundy right there. Lundy, the lead car in that battle, Castro, and then that's Ratche in the very back. You'll see him on Ratche running in 10th position. Again, look at the interval. You look at Beard, you see the interval that they've dropped back. Beard's about 4 seconds back to Lundy. Dexter loose. Castro has lost another position, dropping it back to Ratche. Remember, Castro's plan was to not get into any trouble, just stay out there and run the laps. He's dropped another position now. He had made it up to 8th, currently running in 10th position, still inside the top 10.
And with this field, that's a pretty good place to be.
We're going to jump up now to 3rd position, Leandro Schmidt. Now remember, he got that position when it was awarded to him when Miguel Crudo had the slowdown penalty in the first chicane. Crudo has ran him down. And then sitting back in the jumbo popcorn position, Mark, with a big box of popcorn, butter flavoring, big Coke, is Dusan Bolding watching that battle ahead of him.
Well, yeah, that's a great battle between the two of them. It's only about a second apart.
And let's stay on it now because Schmidt, running in 3rd, is about to come up on a lapped car here. That's Anthony James. Tony James, his friends call him TJ. Running in 33rd position. TJ is actually 3 laps down right now. And look at him. We talked about it before. He lets him up. He wasn't able, though. He let up to let Schmidt get by, but he wasn't able to let Crudo get by. Mark, only so much you can do. The car's not transparent. It's not. It has mass. People can't drive through it.
Well, that's a big difference between road course racing and oval racing. When you're on an oval track, you can ride the high line or the low line, and you can just kind of hold your speed, and people can get by you. On a road course, you might be on the inside. You might be right on the apex in one corner, and in the next corner, you can get off the apex because it's going the other direction. It's a whole different world.
Let's go back and talk about some people back in the second set of 10 back there. Looking at Tim Collier right now. He's being chased by Jason Ewell. Again, don't be confused. Yule's in another one of those blue and orange puffin machines. Collier running in 15th position right now. Yule gets a bad drive off the corner. Collier able to drive away. Collier in an Audi. We have 3 different makes here. Yule in the BMW. Oh, look at Yule. You can see that's what the BMW's advantage is under braking. They're able to close down. They almost had too much of an advantage there as he almost said hello to Collier.
You know, I thought I noticed that they got that close. It looked like he was almost going to nose him right off the track.
Now, at the 38-minute to go mark, this is right at the entrance of the pit window here. We have Litke coming in. Also, Arthur Hermont coming in, pitting. Hermont was running up in the top, probably running about 4th or 5th at the time.
Is this his first stop of the day?
Yeah, this will be, with only a 60-minute race today, we're only going to see one stop compared to the 70, what did I say? What they ran last time, they must have ran must have been an hour and a half last time, must have been a 90-minute race. My apologies
I believe it
if
was.
I had that wrong. Yeah. This series runs a mini endurance race and then the little, what they call a 60-minute sprint race. Both require pit stops. This one will only take one. They run the same fuel, though, 65% for both. Let's look at a driver we haven't talked much about. Miguel Antonio El Crudo. I'm going to call him Tony El Crudo so we don't get confused with the other Miguel El Crudo. He's currently running in 11th position in a battle with Brian Bird. I heard Castro come on to the... Castro is in the grass. I heard him come on that he put it in the grass.
He went off pretty hard. I think he actually hit the guardrail. He hit the Armco.
I think he made contact. I think he made contact with Tom Ratchey. Oh my goodness!
Was he trying to pit?
Totally missed. Might have been trying to pit. He totally missed his braking zone. That easily could have been. I think you might have got it, Mark, because Dexter's a better driver than what I saw there. You're right on board.
It looked to me like he was trying to pit.
Now he comes up, he's got that lap, that's Ratchet he gets into, and I think maybe you're right. And there just wasn't enough room.
He came in, he closed a lot faster than the two cars in front of him did. He had nowhere to go and put a wheel off into the grass, not much unlike the, what's his name in the Formula One race this past weekend.
Right.
And he had nowhere to go. You know, basically it was put it in the grass or cloud the car in front of you, and that caused his car to get unstable, which then forced him into the sand and into the Armco.
This is one of those unusual tracks where you can actually almost pass somebody entering pit lane. The other one is that track in Canada, I guess it's Montreal, that has the right before the chicane where you can actually pass somebody while they're braking for the chicane. You can go full speed into pit entrance. I think maybe that's what caught Tom Ratchey by surprise, and Tom would have no idea to leave room on the outside there. That's what you call a racing incident.
And Dexter survived. He suffered a great deal of damage on that accident, so he had to use his fast repair.
Yeah, the bad news was he wasn't able to get into the pits. He was in the window. If he could have got into the pits, that would have worked out well for him. But he ended up bouncing onto the grass. Let's jump back up. We were going to look at the back markers a little bit. Let's jump up to this battle for third again. It's starting to heat up with Leandro Schmidt and Miguel Ocrudo. Now, don't get confused. Back there, you'll see Dexter Castro in the hunt, but he is a lap down at this point. But his car does look pretty, so he took his fast repair. We ride on board with car. Yeah, we ride on board with Schmidt. We are on board with Schmidt looking ahead. And actually now, there's the 31st driver, Fabrizio Battista, getting out of the way. I should have paid more attention in 8th grade Spanish.
that lapped car had a great deal of damage on it.
Now, I'm looking back because with Castro Spin, I had a plan here. I got a little bit off. I'm trying to see if I can find Hermont on the scoring because I believe he's going to be our driver who took a pit, if I remember right. If I can go here. That's Arthur Hermont, I believe, is the driver who's leading who has taken a pit stop. Of course, there are other drivers like Stacy and Tanaka who took a pit stop, but they're going to actually have to take another pit stop. So Hermont right now a lap down, so I'm still not sure he's really in contention. Something must have happened to him. I don't think he's in the hunt for the win today. Go ahead, Mark.
I was going to say the perils of having to make that early pit stop to repair damage.
Yep. Lap traffic now becoming a factor.
I tell you, that battle between Schmidt and El Crudo is really, really strong.
As we watch it right now, that is actually probably your closest and most important battle out there on the track right now. Again, let me remind you, Schmidt got that position from a mistake from El Crudo, so El Crudo could sit back there, maybe save a little fuel, maybe not have to take quite so much.
I've been watching about the last 3 or 4 laps, and as a lap car gets right off the track to let them by. Basically, I've been watching it the last several laps, and for the most part, El Crudo is all over Schmidt, and then he'll bobble or he'll just lose up a little bit, and then Schmidt will get about a quarter of a second back, but now he's just right on his tail. He's pushing him, and he's setting him up. What he's doing right now, he's trying to see where can he put his car to sneak in a braking zone, to sneak in a pass, to sneak just to pressure Schmidt into making some kind of a mistake, some kind of a bobble that'll let him by.
Schmidt and El Crudo with a clear track ahead of him. That was Warren McGarry that we saw in the grass letting those guys by, and Schmidt and El Crudo, one of them gave them a thank you very much. Dexter Castro just turned McGarry. Let's go back. We can get that on replay. Really, are you kidding? As Warren McGarry comes over the... Castro saying you lifted in a flat-out section of track as they argue back and forth. You'll see it on replay. 1 more minute to get over as they both continue to argue, McGarry said. And there you see Castro putting him into the wall.
It's a pretty heated exchange going on between the two drivers.
Way too much exchanging going on, and Ryan Bird comes in and says, "Quiet, boys," as they go back and forth. The only thing they did
was leave out the 4-letter words.
It was clean. That was broadcast quality there. It goes on as we're talking. It was really too bad because McGrady just did did I get that name wrong? Did I? Yeah. Did a great job of letting the other guys around. We're just talking about it. Dexter Castro probably still a little bit. In poker, they call it being on tilt, where you play everything right and you still lose the hand. I think he might have still been a little bit on tilt from that error at pit lane entrance.
And Castro is really, you can see Castro's really pushing Bolden right now. He's trying to get a spot that isn't even his, but he's really pushing to get around this car.
Well, yeah, even though he's well back, he's still in the hunt here because he knows everyone still needs to make their pit stops, which really, as far as I can tell, has not happened from any of our front runners yet. Roca, Banica, Schmidt, El Crudo, Boldrin, Beard, all still staying out. Lundy, Rache. Directly, let's quickly go to Jason Lundy there as we see 2 teammates back to back. Lundy and Rache running in 7th and 8th. You're not looking at double vision there. That's a pair of teammates.
Sharp looking cars too. I like the paint jobs on those BMW. As we see somebody put a wheel off back there. That's another thing to note about road course racing. On true road courses like here or Mid-Ohio or Road America or any courses like this is you can put a wheel off and kick up some dust, and it doesn't really damage your car as the same as if you're on a oval and you brush the outside wall, or if you're on a street track and you cloud the wall.
If we can go back real quick, look at our leader, Umberto Roca, and then we'll just pan back a car here. Roca just got through some heavy traffic. Got around Victor Tanaka. He got around James Stacy. Oh, and he also got around James Fields, who just is coming into the pits right now, so that's going to make it a little easier. And here comes our second place driver, Eduardo Benita. I'm going to get this right. It's B-Ninka. How hard can that be? Benita.
There's a little bit of activity right behind our leader as one of the Porsches. I couldn't quite see who it was, but went completely off track and got back on.
Boy, it is a cranky bunch of drivers out there. Let's go ahead and look at Dino Topic getting yelled at by Tim Collier. Collier saying, Dino, I did not give that to you. Stop dive-bombing people. Dino, known as the Quiet Canadian, always whispers when he talks on the mic. Topic up into the top 10 now. Of course, a lot of that is pit stop aided. Collier back into 11th.
Yeah, he hasn't stopped yet. In fact, the first top 12 have not stopped, nor has 14 or 16.
Heard some action here for a second. Did we have a problem? No, everything looks okay. Sometimes we hear some sound effects. Go ahead, Director. We're looking, maybe it might have been James Stacy. Stacy running 19th now, actually coming into the pits, so that's a good call. Our director may have spotted that one. Okay, what I want to do is put the spotlight on the driver in 13th position right there. Right now, that's Eduardo Benita. As far as I can tell, he's the driver who's pitted, who's up the farthest in the standings.
I've been watching the front of his car, and he has some damage, and I wonder if that's going to affect the aerodynamics and how that will play later on in this race.
A few more drivers come into pit. Topic was one of them. As we have crossed the halfway mark, our leaders stay out. Let's go to our leader right now. Umberto Roca is caught in a sandwich of back markers. He's got Paul Green Eggs and Hamilton right in front of him in the 377 machine. He had just gotten around Robert Tarbox.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but was it lap traffic his undoing last week or last race?
Yes, it was. He's doing a much. So far, so good. We don't want to give him the commentator's curse, but so far he has negotiated all the lap traffic. There we go. I can see Dino Topic coming out of the pits right now behind them. Of course, Hamilton and Tarbox still need to make that stop. That is a battle for position, and Tarbox has just taken and moving up into 14th. And Topic is coming out. He just came out of the pit. I don't think anyone's changing tires, so it's not like he has fresh rubber or cold rubber on there. I think it's just a matter of he might be a little faster than both of those guys. So Topic now into 15th, even though don't play in the tar box and Green Eggs and Hamilton. I have nicknames for both of those guys. I apologize to their family. We'll both need to pit. Warren McGarry gets out of the way as Tarbox gets by him now.
I'm just watching Roca just navigate his way through this field, and it is smooth as silk. I mean, there's nothing. He doesn't put a wheel wrong. Just it's completely evident why he is where he is.
And he stays out again. I want to double check to make sure I haven't missed a pit stop from him, but nope, he is not.
He has not pitted.
Schmidt also staying out. Crudo also staying out.
Roca put a wheel off there. That was kind of a little bit of a hairy moment for a second.
Doldrin and Beard all staying out. Lundy and Ratche staying out. Is everyone gonna run it? I think what I would do here is probably, if it were me, it's one of those rare instances where I actually have been faster than most of the field when iRacing puts me in a friendly split, is to pit when the traffic is bad. So it might be a case if you got clear air ahead of you, stay on out.
I'm guessing we're going to see the leader pit here. We're 25 laps in, and on this 65% fuel load, he's got to be just about on fumes at this point.
The interval back to Eduardo Danica, who is back in 11th position, and he's the driver who's leading of all the cars who have pitted, is 51 seconds. That's from your leader. Now, probably a more realistic number would be something back to Leandro Schmidt, who's 14 seconds behind the leader. So if I do a little math, 51 minus 14 sounds like 37 to me. That sounds like more of a problem for Schmidt to get in and out in 37 seconds. I would think Roca would be pretty safe that he could. Go ahead, Mark. Here comes your leader.
Out another lap.
Oh, I'm sorry. Schmidt is in from second position. Let's see if anybody else follows him in. Baldwin stays out. Everyone looks like they're staying out. Beard staying out again. They're going to go around one more time. Let's see what Lundy and... Okay, Ratche did not get the memo from the team organizers as Ratche has come in, but Lundy has stayed out.
Could be a case where they're pitting opposite of each other to avoid any kind of collisions.
So Schmidt has just pulled in right now. This is where we want to see if we can pick up Eduardo. In fact, look at this. Here comes Benica right now. Benica is rolling while Schmidt still is in pit lane, I believe. Schmidt still sitting there now, be able to come. Now he's rolling, but it's a long pit entrance, pit exit. Benica is going to crush Schmidt as far as pit stops go. Schmidt comes out now on the track.
Leader is pitting.
And the leaders are coming in. Nice call, Mark. Unless something goes horribly wrong, I would expect Umberto to be able to come out and still maintain the lead. What will happen, though, is I believe he is not going to go wire to wire. Well, maybe not, because the Crudo is coming in as well. Let's see if anybody stays out to lead a lap. Yeah, it's going to be Dujan Boldrin's going to stay out. Get that lap led.
Now, he has not pitted, so he still is going to have to come in.
Yeah, he has one more to go. Roca in there just for giggles. I'll see if I can pick up...
Jason Lundy came around Roca.
Well, you know, look at this. Here comes Benica right now. This is not going to be as miserable as I would have expected. Roca just coming out on the track right now. And it looks like, if timing and scoring is correct, looks to be about 5.5 seconds back to Benica.
That's what I'm getting.
So I think Eduardo might have cut down a few seconds, but honestly, it's still Roca. But he won't be able to go wire to wire, as Dujan Boldrin is our leader for one lap.
It's going to take a lot for anybody other than Roca to get this lead back.
Benica had a slide, but he keeps it going. Everything's still looking okay as he... Tires probably starting to get a little slick now. All right, so here comes our leader, Dujan Boldrin. This should be pretty much everybody. Looking to see
And
where
Lundy,
Lundy...
yeah.
And yeah, I was wondering when Lundy would come in. So what we'll do, we'll watch Boldrin in relationship to the Brazilians that he was racing last, and then we'll go ahead and pick up Lundy, see how he does in relationship with Tom Ratchet. Those guys are running nose to tail. And Roca going by right now. Yep.
So there he resumes the lead and will probably continue to stretch that out over Benica.
Acrudo just went by. So now, next on the list here. Here goes Miguel Acrudo, and now coming out is Dulgen Boldrin. He's going to come out, nobody around him, comfortably in what I think is going to be fifth position. Lundy rolling right now. Let's see if we can. Schmidt is in trouble. It's in turn 4. That right-hander that sets up the long chicane. The car got loose behind him. He looped it around just in front of Hamilton and Stacy. Will go on board, and Mark, you'll be able to feel the rear end come around on him.
Oh yeah, he was very fortunate that he did not get collected by somebody. He was in front of about 5 cars right there and spun it right in the middle of the corner.
You know, they pay GSRC to cover these things, and we're supposed to give our opinions, so I apologize to the Schmidt family out there watching. But my gosh, that guy is so fast, but we talked about it last race, he just cannot get a car to the final lap finish line.
It's, I've seen this happen to a lot of drivers. It's that 1 second lapse of concentration where you put a wheel off the track. And even some of the best drivers, if you put a wheel off, you're not going to generally save the car. Something's going to happen. So it's just, I see it happen all the time, and that's what we saw right there.
Look here at Jason Lundy running in 6th. Now, we talked about him, and there was a relationship with Tom Ratchet as they were running for 7th and 8th. Well, not only did Lundy distance Ratchet, he got himself around, I believe, Dougie Beard. Yeah, Beard running now in 7th position. And Ratchet back there in 8th. In fact, Director, maybe we can put up the top 10 now that the pit cycle is done. We can run these down, Mark. Your leader, Umberto Roca. He's got about an 8-second lead back to Yardo Benica. Miguel Alcrudo running in 3rd position. Dulgen Boldrin behind him. Now, still out there is Leandro Smith running in 5th, but I think he's going to be gathered up pretty quickly by the BMW of Jason Lundy in 6th. Then it's a long way back to Dougie Beard, Tom Ratchet. We get back to 9th and 10th. We haven't talked much about this. Here's a nice little battle. Drew Lipke and Robert Tarbox. Nice run from Robert, looking for a top 10. Tarbox is not a pro driver, so it's always nice to get a top 10. And here's a battle as we see Topic getting around him. Topic now moves into 10th position. Tarbox is going to fall out of that 10th spot. Topic's just really on the move. He's got a shot to move up even to Drew Lipke. We'll keep an eye on that.
That was a nicely placed pass. He just set him up, and he just kind of got around him, and it was very well done.
Topic in that. I guess he's running an Audi. Is that what that is there? Yep, running the Audi. We cover a lot of races with Dino. He races in the Autobahn Motor Car Group Sports Car Challenge. Reaches a BMW in that series. No, I'm sorry. He races a Corvette in a different class. Yes, races a GT1 in there. So he's got about 1.8 seconds to Lidke. We'll go ahead and keep an eye on that. Mark going to wander through the field a bit and see if we can pick up somebody in a battle that we haven't talked much about. Our director found one for me. He says P20. And look what he found. We got Green Eggs and Hamilton in a battle there with Peter Hebron. Hamilton running in 20th position, Hebron running in 21st. There's another Puffin car, not quite the same paint scheme as Lundy and Ratchy, but similar colors, orange and blue.
And just to mention, these two guys are not that far behind James Stacy either. So I mean, there's a lap difference there, but they're really fighting for it.
We'll stay on this battle a little bit, as there really isn't a battle up there. The only thing that probably catch my attention if somebody gets in trouble, which is what Paul Hamilton almost had happen to him. Another battle of classes here. Or not classes, but manufacturers.
Yeah. 19, 20, 21, you got Stacy, Hamilton, and Hebron. They're about 10 seconds apart on the track, so it's not a terrible battle for them. It's makeable, and I mean, if somebody makes a small mistake, especially like if Stacy in front makes a small bobble, this could become a very, very tight race.
And we'll stay here for a minute as they're coming up now. Leandro Schmidt's coming up, currently running in 5th. Still doing a pretty good job of keeping that Audi out there running fast. Coming up on the back, and there you see Hebron gives him room. Boy, but it kills. Look what it did to Peter's battle now he was having there with Hamilton. That's almost not fair. It reminds me like when you're playing ball in the street and a car comes by and everyone stops except for one guy who scores a goal, and that's what happened there to Hamilton. He's now really opened up on Hebron. Of course.
It's going to be difficult to close that back up anytime soon. And with 13 minutes to go, that might be that might be tough.
And of course, Hamilton's got to do the same thing now. We'll stay here. We'll see what Leandro does here. Hamilton will give it to you. I will give it to you, Leandro. I just don't want to lose any time doing it. So he leaves the apex. Now look, this is a horrible place. Of any place you do not want to get a bad exit is probably out of that corner. Because not only do you lose the time in the corner, you lose all that time down to the chicane. And let's see if Hebron takes and presses the issue. Nope. Hey, car. And now the battle starts again.
Car.
Going to
Game
P9
on.
with Drew Litke in a battle with Dino Topic. We saw that Topic was running him down. Well, he has ran him down now. Now we'll stay on this. Also in the mix to make this interesting is Cleaver Gomez. Gomez gets out of the way, and I'm going to call that like a yellow-orange machine. If I got those color wrong, I apologize.
That's what it looks like to me.
Okay. Oh, Topic right up on the back of Litke. This is a battle for 9th. A pair of similar make machines there. Right on board with Tino, who really takes it into the grass, doesn't he, Mark?
Doing some agricultural racing.
I actually spent some time prepping for this in the BMW, so I can tell a little bit about that. There are some right in here. These are some significant curbing right there. There are some curves, some chicanes that you can exploit. At least I couldn't do it over there.
Those are some pretty good sized bumps. That could really upset the car.
There's a yellow car off. That's he did it just so I could try this name one more time. Fabrizio Battaglia. I'm going with a Y on the end there. My 7th grade Spanish teacher told me that a double L is a Y, unless he's from Brazil. Yeah, then he's from Portuguese. I have no idea what it is.
I wonder if the amount of damage on his car had anything to do with his with him going off, because his car, he must have gotten off somewhere at some point where we didn't see, because he's got a great deal of damage on that vehicle.
We'll go back. We missed him, but we'll go ahead and follow up just to show that it happened here. Peter Hebron has got around Green Eggs and Hamilton. And well, that kind of makes it all academic as Hamilton goes into the pit. So
definitely unscheduled. I wonder what he could possibly have wrong.
Hebron saying, well, that's no fun. Let's go back and see what's going on with the battle we were looking at there with Topic. Still's got a ways to go here. Only 9 minutes to go, Mark.
We're closing down, and our leader has a 7.5 second lead, and there's a 10-second gap back to third.
Yep.
So it's the front is not where it's at. It's these fun battles in the trenches in the middle of this race.
We can stay there on that battle with Topic and Litke. Just want to update you on a couple things while we look at that. We talked about the possibility of Schmidt falling back into the clutches of Lundy. Well, that doesn't look like that's going to happen, as Schmidt's got that car running pretty well even after nosing it into the wall.
Lundy's 7.5 seconds back to him, so with this little bit of time to go, Schmidt would have to make a mistake.
Lundy, Beard, and Rathy are the 3 spots. Actually, I said that in reverse order if I want to go back to front. Rathy, Beard, and Lundy running 8th, 7th, and 6th, just ahead of what we were looking at there of that Litke battle with Topic. Mark, I'm hearing more communications on the mic today about go left, go right from drivers than I have in the past.
That's on a road course. It's critical to let people know, especially if you're a lapped car, that okay, I'm going to be left, you go right. I'm going to be right, you go left. Like I was alluding to earlier, it's difficult for as a lap car, which I typically am. Yeah. It's difficult to get out of the way of the faster cars. And so one of the tricks is you can do that communication, go left, go right. Otherwise, you do what the car that we saw earlier did, and you just get off the track altogether, which then draws incident points, and then that's a whole nother bad thing to get into.
Looking at a battle here with Cleaver Gomez running in 21st position. And actually, here we go. That's Ryan Bird making a move. He's going to have the inside. This is going to be interesting. As they go through the chicane, they get it sorted out. Nicely done. Bird moves up into 21st. Gomez back into 22nd. If we drop back just a couple cars back to them, we have a battle for 12th. This is Tony Alcrudo, not to be confused with Miguel, who's up near the front. Tony Alcrudo and Tim Collier. Collier now, as they work around Gomez,
Topic is really working Lidke right now.
The Alcrudo battle, Collier battle. Move. Yep, that's slowed down, so let's go ahead and look at Topic. Not there.
He was right on his bumper, trying to set him up to make a move, and as he tried to move, he bobbled it just a little bit, which cost him about a quarter of a second. So now he's got to take the time, which he's running out of, to try to set him back up again, to try to set up Lidke and try to make that move that he was going to try to make about a half a lap ago.
About 6.5 minutes to go till the time runs out on this 60-minute race. About 1.5 minutes per lap, so do the maybe 4 or 5 laps before we see the white flag. We'll have a handful of more opportunities in his passing zone to get it done.
And he's pushing him. He's trying to force Lidke to make a mistake. He's trying to make it so that the pass is easier than trying to get it on the track, which is every driver's objective, is try to pressure the guy in front of you into missing a corner a little bit, missing an apex, bobbling, whatever you can do to try to get the upper hand on him.
And I think that's a good point. Honestly, we have not seen that many passes for position. A few here and there, and most of them have come, or several of them have come when somebody makes a mistake in front. 2 battles on the track right now to pay attention to. That's the one we're watching there with Lidke as we ride on board, looking back at Topic. The other one that we're keeping an eye on is for 12th position, Tony Alcrudo in a battle with Tim Collier. That's about just under a second distance apart. We look back and there's one more right behind them. Actually, that's a pretty good battle. That one's heating up. Let's go to this one. It's Arthur Hermont in a battle. Now, here's some big names back here running for 14th. Arthur Hermont, and I believe it was Dexter Castro. No, it's not. It's Gomez. Sorry, I thought Castro was in there somewhere.
I thought he was too.
Let me get this straight. It is. It's Hermont and Castro, yeah. Both these guys have seen their problems today, and they're the last cars on the lead lap. Should be well up. Both those guys you expect to see well up inside, battling for a top 5 spot. So, 3 battles to watch. Hermont and Castro. Litke and Topic. And Alcrudo and Collier. 4.5 minutes to go. If I were the bet on the one that would be the most exciting, I would put it on the Castro-Hermont battle, which is what we're watching right now.
I think there's going to be a little bit of paint exchange going on here before too long between these two guys. If this kind of pressure continues.
Again, what's fun about this series is you have 2 different manufacturers, so both drivers will have different characteristics. First of all, they're born thanks to genetics with different characteristics, and then driving cars that are built with different characteristics. You should be able to see that BMW close. You might, with the downforce that Castro's running, you will have straight line speed, but you should be able to see that BMW close up big time as they come into the braking zone. Maybe if we're fortunate enough to stay on this one all the way around 4 as they head into that first chicane, we'll see what Castro can do. 3 minutes, just over 3 minutes to go. Here they go through 4. Now let's see what Castro should be able to get the power down. If he keeps it off the kitty litter, he'll have trouble. Now this is, go ahead, Mark.
I was just saying, when they get a tire off like that, you can see the smoke up. And that gives you that little bit of a second, and you can see he's going to close in on him. The braking is going to help, but he was closing in anyways because of the bobble.
And if there is enough time, this is going to get real exciting, because Hermont, as we talked about, should be up front. These guys are closing in on this battle with Collier and Alcrudo for 12th position. So not only are these guys looking for 13th, they have visions of 12th. I mean, sorry, Hermont's running in 14th right now, so Castro has visions of 14th. He can also get Alcrudo and Collier. They are gaining on them.
An update on Lidke and Topic. They haven't changed any. Topic is still just that half a second behind Lidke. He just can't close it down, and if he doesn't close it down real soon, he's not going to be able to make any kind of move.
Yep, we'll keep an eye on your leaders, but really this is the battle here right now that's will soon turn into a 4-car affair. Running in 12th, Alcrudo being pressured by Collier. Collier's got to be looking in his mirror, or what we talked about earlier, the F3 box. The F3 box, looking back there and saying, Antonio, they're coming. I think Collier would like to get around Antonio because Hermont and Castro are gobbling him up.
That F3 box is critical on a road course.
In fact, here goes Collier now, trying to get it done into the first chicane. That's going to do nothing but cause trouble as Collier gets a horrible run out of the chicane. He couldn't get it done, and all it did was cost him more time and have him fall back into the clutches of Hermont. Umberto Roca still coming around the final corners. Will be taking the white flag this time, which means that those guys back there in that battle will, if they want to do it at that chicane, they're only going to see it one more time.
It's do or die.
You see the battle there. It's a 4-car train now. These guys will be seeing the white flag. Alcrudo, Collier, we should be able to come back and watch this battle because the leader is ahead of them by almost a minute. So we'll have plenty of time to watch this whole thing. We'll keep an eye on the leader. Collier looking... We'll watch this also. Lundy and Jason Lundy and Dougie Bird has ran him down. So Bird has a shot looking to get inside 6. Lots of action going on. As we go back, Collier now. Oh no, do they make contact? Yep. Alcrudo, who was in the front, is gone. Collier also has slowed down.
Oh, he went off big.
Vermont and Castro get through. We watched the replay. We still have time as our leader is not to the start-finish line yet. We have plenty of time. Leader just going through 7 now. You can see that. So we knew that was the excitement was going to be.
And it was just a matter of time before somebody bumped somebody. It looked like, I wasn't sure which car it was, but the first car in that line bumped the other guy and knocked him off the track.
And here we go. Now we go Rokas. He gets around to Kruda. He just has this final little chicane to negotiate. I believe they call it 10, even though it's a left and a right. And your winner, that's 3 out of 4. That'll earn you a lot of money if you have that batting average in Major League Baseball. Umberto
Really should have been 4 out
Roca.
of 4.
Second
He was so
place.
dominant 2 weeks ago.
Eduardo Benica wins second. Now let's go back. I don't think we're going to follow these guys back. Let's go ahead and kick up Bird and Lundy. We'll assume that everyone finishes in order as they cross. We'll pick up Lundy running in 6th position right now. Really nowhere for Bird to get this done. Lundy's got the pit entrance here to get by. This little chicane. I think Bird's going to have to settle for 7th. And let's go back. Well, we talked about Litke. Oh, look at Rachi is in trouble. Oh, Castro spun apparently. A little bit of contact there. Litke finishes ahead.
Castro actually bumped him and actually got the better end of that battle, so that was kind of an interesting exchange.
Castro's going to get ahead here. Going to finish in 12th. Vermont is going to finish in 13th, and then we'll stay with these guys. Collier going to bring it through that final chicane in 15th, and we'll go ahead and see if we can see. We'll follow Tony Alcrudo, who had that incident, and that'll finish up. Actually, Alcrudo has been lapped, so I guess this is going to be 1 lap down. I think Alcrudo's going to bring it home here. iRacing showing him as 1 lap down, and I believe that's probably the case, but we'll stay with him as Alcrudo brings that car across the start-finish line. Mark, that wraps us up. We're going to take a short break. We'll come back, run down the entire field of 35 drivers, do driver interviews, and closing credits. Back in just a few. welcome back to Global Sim Racing post-race. Let's try that again. Take two. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing channel's post-race coverage of the championship motor racing champions. Hey, we're back. Your winner today of round 4 of this series on this channel was Umberto Roca. He finished first. This is his 3rd win in the 4 events so far this season. Eduardo Benica in 2nd place. Miguel Ocrudo came in with the final podium position. Duljan Boldrum in 4th. Leandro Smith in 5th. And we get to our first non-Brazilian driver. That was Jason Lundy, going to come home in 6th with a close battle just ahead of Dougie Bird. 8th, 9th, and 10th go to Tom Ratchey, Drew Litke, and then, like I said, the final 10th position to Dino Topic, who started in 34th, picking up 24 positions. Mark?
In 12th, we had, or 11th rather, Robert Tarbox Jr. In 12th, Dexter Castro. Over in 13th was Arthur Hermont. 14th, Tim Collier. 15th, we have Tony Alcrudo. 16th, Curtis Palshan. Over in 17th, James Hume. 18th is David Slee. 19th, James Stacy. And in 20th, Peter Hebron.
Hitting blackjack is Ryan Bird, who is no relations to Dougie Beard, even though I might have called Dougie Bird a few times during the race. But what's a Global Sim Racing Channel race without Soup making a couple crazy mistakes? Simon Goodwin catching 22. Cleaver Gomez in 23rd. Double dozen position goes to Jay Friels. Paul, Green Eggs and Hamilton, I hope you like that nickname, because I sure do, in the quarter century mark. Warren McGarry had a little incident with the main man, Dexter Castro, bringing it home 3 laps down in 26th position. Tony James in 27th. Fabricio Battasilla in 28th position. I'm going to do better on that name next time. Marco Calabi in 29th. Rounding out the top 30th, Victor Tanaka. Didn't have quite the successful race that he had, at least the showing that he showed at Monza last time. The final 5 drivers, Wayne Fitzgerald, Eduardo Tamati, Fred McIntosh, Mark Ruggiero, and Matt Quinn in 35th, 39 laps down. Okay, let's see who we have to talk to here today, if we can run some down. Why don't we go ahead and start with Jason Lundy? I believe he's the top finisher here. So many of these drivers are Portuguese speaking. Let's see if we can get a talk with Jason Lundy, who was in a great battle with Dougie Beard there. And earlier in the race, he is in the battle with Tom Ratchey until the pit stops broke that up. Mr. Lundy, do you have a copy?
Yeah, sure do.
Hey, congratulations. Didn't quite get a top 6 thought. I thought maybe you might be able to get to Schmidt. His car was injured, but I guess that wasn't going to work. But boy, Dougie was closing on you.
Yeah, he sure was. To jump him in the pits, I decided not to take tires, and then I really cut my fuel close. So I had about half a gallon when I crossed the line there. So it's a combination of the old tires, trying to save fuel, and yeah, he was coming pretty quickly.
Yeah, you kind of spoiled the suspense there. What we'd like to do is find out who you're coming in with there. You came in first. I think Tom did Tom come in first? I believe you probably pitted first. Tom stayed out. That's right, because he didn't get the memo when it was time to pit. And we're watching Tom, and boy, you smoked him. And not only did you get him, you got Dougie also. You picked up 2 spots. What do you do to calculate your fuel? Do you do it on the spot, or do you know ahead of time? And then how the race runs out, you take a little less if you're saving some? What do you do?
Yeah, Tom actually, he pit before me a couple laps. I usually am able to stretch it out over him. But I keep track of my fuel stats in an Excel spreadsheet, and throughout each practice during the week leading up to the race, I keep looking at them, tweaking them. And then come race night, it just depends how I feel the race is going to go, if I'm going to have good pace or not. Like tonight, it's going to be a tough track for me in our cars, so I decided to kind of take a bit more of a strategic approach to the race, and so that's how I work out my fuel numbers, whether or not I'm going to take tires or not. I know Tom said he took 12 gallons. I took 10 gallons on the pit stop, so I think that's where I got the extra time and made it up on him.
While we're talking fuel, and please feel free to say, no, I don't even take that into consideration, or it means nothing. Does like the humidity or the weather play a factor with fuel, or really not?
To me, no, I really don't look at it. It's all relative.
Got it. Well, congratulations on Puffin Racing. See, did you get them both inside the top 10 today? Tom had a little bit of a falling down there at the end. 2 cars inside the top 10. Congratulations.
Thank you, Bill.
6th place finisher today, Jason Lundy. Mark, who do you want to talk to?
Let's bring Dino on down here.
This will be good. The quiet Canadian, Dino Topich. I think you got him. Mark, go ahead.
Dino, Mark Norbert up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Dino, great run. What a fun battle watching you and Drew go at it. I thought you were gonna get him. Did you have anything there?
Oh, my tires were so bad. Like being in the draft on this track is not the greatest thing because it's hard to get a good run, especially through those sweepers.
It looked like at one point you got right on his rear bumper, like you were going to make a move, but then perhaps, like you alluded to, the draft may have maybe you got some dirty air or something, and it caused you to lose some a little bit of ground. Was that what happened, or can you tell me about that?
Not sure which one you're referring to. The one I managed to get closest was in the last chicane, but I didn't have a good run and it couldn't really get alongside.
So I noticed you put on your name plus 24 spots. What a great climb from but you started what 34th and didn't take a time?
Yes, I got a penalty from Monza race for contacting the orange zone, so I had to start at the back with a couple other guys. But managed to get up to 10th, which actually I managed to finish the first race in this league. I just had a string of weird bad luck incidents, I guess.
Was the climb from 34th to 9th, or 10th rather, what cost your tires, and did you think about changing them on your pit stop at all?
Changing them was never the option. The time loss was just too much, but it was definitely really, really tough on the tires. It's my first extended season, I guess, in the Audi, so still learning that car. Hopefully I can reduce some of that, but it was definitely tough on this race.
Any scary moments climbing through the field?
Yes. I'm not sure what the corner name is. It's the second right-hander after the second chicane. I hit the inside curb, and I was behind Robert. The rear just started stepping out, and I was staring at the wall, fully ready to take it. But I survived.
Well, excellent drive. It was fun to watch. It was a lot of fun watching you and Drew battle those last 10-15 minutes, and good luck next race out.
Thanks a lot, guys. It was a lot of fun. I'll catch you later.
Dino Topich, your 11th place driver today. A great run from, 10th place driver. Finished inside the top 10. Our final interview, we're going to go with what I believe now we're going to go with who I believe is the leader in the Pro-Am points division. I could be wrong on this, but I think he did enough to get that done. And that is, of course, let's see if I can find it, Robert Tarbox. Robert, do you have a copy?
Yep, loud and clear.
Hey, congratulations on your win. You finished 11th, but as far as I can see, you bested everybody in your class. You had a pretty fun race.
Yeah, it was pretty eventful. I went into this race in a brand new car because CMS started right after this last build with the Merc and Audi coming out. They said, we're going to allow you to change one car if you didn't like the one you went in. So I raced the Audi the first 3 times. I spun out every single race. I got fed up with it. I decided to take the Mercedes out, and I was beating my times that I did with the Audi, whereas the Audi setups, I ran telemetry and all this other stuff, ran it through this, ran it through the ringer. The Mercedes baseline with a tire pressure adjustment beat that by 0.2. So I said, you know what, screw it. And I could tackle the corners a lot easier in the Mercedes, so I said, you know what, this car suits me better. I think front engine rear-wheel drive just benefits me better, and I think it showed tonight. I couldn't believe I passed Miguel's son. He's always quick.
What was your car of choice before the Audi and the Mercedes come out? Was it BMW or Roof or McLaren? What were you driving?
Yep, Beamer. I drove the Beamer last year.
Yeah, it looks like the Roof and the McLaren are going to be not too many people driving that, but I think Victor Kondoka has the Roof going on. Those cars just aren't. He's not going to cut it today.
I just think it's the whole new toy thing, because that's the way I was. That's why I gave up on the BMW. I'm just like, oh, 2 new toys. I'm gonna find one that fits me. Oh, look at them. They're nice and shiny. So.
Well, do you there's a couple more questions and I'll let you go. We'll wrap up the show here. When you're racing, do you keep an eye on those drivers that Pro-Am battle? Does that mean much to you?
Oh yeah, I am constantly checking my relative and standings to see where Miguel and Tim were on the track. I wanted to see if they were going to go down a lap at the end of that race, because then I could just ease off and just pretty much just cruise a 2-minute lap to get back to the checkered flag. And oh yeah, like I'm always paying attention, trying to figure out where everybody is, if they're catching me, and if I'm putting a gap on them, I'll back off a little bit, save the tires, because it was a cold track, but tire saving still was good, because the last, I'd say about anywhere from 10 to 8 minutes to go in the race, my tires started to go away, my lap times fell off. So yeah, I'm always paying attention. I'm just that way though. I'm always worried about the stuff.
Okay, well, I'll get you out on this important question that we're asking at least one driver every race.
Oh, I get it this week.
You get it this one. Which superpower do you want? You can be invisible, you can fly, you can read minds, or talk to animals. Which one do you want?
Absolutely invisible.
Invisible, boy, that seems to be the popular one so far. Okay, there you have it. Hey, Robert, don't play in the tar box. You want me to lose that one? You want me to come up with something better than that one?
What was it again?
Don't play in the tar box. It's not working for you, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see what else you can come
back to the drawing board for us. All right. Robert Tarbox, your 11th place driver, and we believe your winner in the Pro-Am points overlay. All right, that's going to a Pro-Am points division, as I actually read the word overlay that was in the script. Tracking with GSRC to broadcast it. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I took myself.
Were you supposed to move me?
My goodness. All right. Let's somebody get Bobby out of here. All right. I am now going to continue wrapping up the show before I do anything else wrong, like remove myself from the mic. Championship Motorsports. We're going to thank them for organizing the series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Thanks to the companies and equipment and the software that we use on the screen that you see right now. This splash top thing needs a do not move yourself button, though, somewhere in there. The original music that you heard on today's broadcast is thanks to Eric Outcombe and Casey Lalonde. Go ahead and go to the information on the screen. Get that music. Play it at, I'm telling you, my nephew used it in the birthing room for his child. The kid's going to be awesome, going to rule the world. Thanks to my mic mate, Mark Nobert, our director, Amjad Yaman, Dougie Beard, while he was out on the track. And remember, that's Dougie, don't call me Beard, for his camera locations. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC and find out about archive races, your best bet is GlobalSimRacingChannel.com. We're also on Twitter at Global Sim Racing Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Channel. Now, pay attention to this, because unfortunately, scheduling conflicts will prevent the GSRC from covering Round 5 of the CMS GT3 series. But we will be able to bring you Round 6 from, oh my goodness, Road Atlanta on June 15th. For details about all the upcoming races, go to Global Sim Racing Channel. I love Road Atlanta. That'll be so exciting. And now that the housekeeping is out of the way, let's all have time to go off and have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.